Lawmakers waste Rs 25 million in a day. Is there an actual threat to Dharmana Thea's life? Ravi's Christmas party to settle UNP's internal disputes. What is Lantha's armed struggle?
The leader, දේශයට මග කියන ප්‍රවෘත්ති පෙළගැස්ම.
Lawmakers waste Rs 25 million in a day. Standing orders had to be suspended to allow for the holding of parliamentary sittings on December 10th, it being a Sunday. The purpose was to hold the debate on VAT amendment proposals. But a lack of quorum forced sittings to be adjourned. SJB's Nalin Bandara raised it, accusing the government of trying to pass the act even without a quorum. State Minister Shehan Semasingha said the vote will be held in the afternoon. Ajith Rajapaksa, in the chair at the time, rang the bell for MPs and found less than 20 members present in the chamber. It was the first time a draft act submitted by the Finance Ministry had to be postponed due to a lack of quorum. That was the result of organizational weaknesses of the ruling party and the unity of the opposition. During the debate, the opposition observed that only 15 government MPs were in the chamber. Those in the opposition benches from several parties conversed and left the chamber in unison. Those numbered more than 25, including Sajith, AKD, Wirawansa, Godahewa, Wirasumana, Govindu, Kiriela, Charitha, Udayana, Rohini, and Harsha. Before leaving, Sajith entrusted Nalin to remain and raise the quorum issue. Within 5 minutes of the bell, only Bandula from the government benches was back in the chamber. Opposition members who were on their way back were stopped outside by Sajith, AKD, Wirawansa, Godahewa, and Kiriela. Sajith telephoned Nalin and told him to raise the quorum after the 5 minutes ended. With no quorum, the deputy speaker had to adjourn sittings for the next day. It is a blemish on the government, and the blame should go to the negligence of Leader of the House Susil Premajayantha and Chief Government Whip Prasanna Ranatunga and irresponsible behavior of ruling members. Also, the SJB, NPP, FPC, and SLC in the opposition acted in unison. According to the Information Officer of Parliament, the expenditure for a single day of sittings is more than Rs 25 million. That money went waste on Sunday. Is there an actual threat to Dharmana Thea's life? Opposition leader Sajith asked in Parliament on Saturday for an investigation into 2 suspicious persons in army uniform at Mihintale Rajamaha Vihara. He cast doubts if the duo claiming to be from the army had gone there to harm the life of Chief Incumbent Dharmana Thea. Police and Civil Defense Force personnel nabbed them as they had been frequenting the temple for the past 3 weeks. On Sunday morning, State Defense Minister Pramitha Tenakun said all military personnel would be withdrawn from Mihintale. The decision is based on a claim by the opposition leader that their presence was a threat to the life of the chief incumbent, he said. Thereafter, the army spokesman said they would release personnel from duty at Mihintale from that day, as the trust between them and the chief incumbent had been breached. More than 200 members of the armed forces had been involved in development work there for several years, he said, adding that they would be withdrawn for their safety. The Defense Ministry had released 252 personnel for duty there. A separate police post with 28 personnel provides protection for the temple. The police media spokesman said all of them would continue to be on duty there. According to information, more than 10,000 armed forces personnel are deployed at Buddhist religious places for protection and other duties. The Civil Defense Force, too, has over 4,000 personnel on duty at these places. Some temples have separate police posts. After the terrorist attack, the Temple of the Tooth Relic has more than 300 police personnel on security duty. Also, other temples frequented by VIPs are receiving police protection. Almost all Nayaka Theras too get similar protection. This means that despite all the crises, the government spends a lot of money on the protection of temples and Nayaka Theras. Anyway, Dharmana Thea says his remarks has sent shockwaves in the government. It is a personal revenge on him that military protection was withdrawn, he says. The Thera also says that from here on, the government should protect archaeological ruins in an area thousands of acres in extent and also maintain the place. All these are happening with just months remaining for a national election. Therefore, it would be for the good of everybody that a watch is kept on all things more closely. Politics plays a hidden hand everywhere. Considerable attention is drawn to the claim of an attempt on the life of a Thera who is a strong critic of President Ranil. It takes time for the truth to come out. Remember how a certain Namal Kumara made a media hype during the good governance regime about attempts on the lives of the then president and defense secretary. Ravi's Christmas party to settle UNP's internal disputes. As usual, it is now time for some tidbits from Asoka Jayatunga's President's E-column. The headlines go as follows. IMF installment on the 12th? Will Ramesh fall victim to health mafia? Fate of health? Big shots who siphon off millions from small companies? American Mahinda's fertilizer, medicines, and English tuition? What Naveen said, first of all. Who is the latest cricket and economic assassin? Is Happy Family Project yet another swindle? Health was the topic on the occasion when Johnny cut his birthday cake at the President's office in Parliament last week. It was Health Minister Ramesh's birthday too. But he was down south that day, attending the cremation of a Nayaka Thera. Some present said Ramesh changed the system and there are no accusations anymore. Most thieves have been driven away. Others, too, will go the same way. Ramesh is also keeping an eye on health big shots who siphon off millions from small companies. People commend the appointment of persons like Dr. Ananda Wijayakrama, they remarked. But Ranil raised his eyebrows when one said, CT scanners are out of order everywhere. Another said the country should be told that the Happy Family Project by them was not yet another deception. It was unclear whom Premier Dinesh Gunawardana targeted when he said it should be conducted without involvement of alcohol. MPs told the president that people will be worse off when the VAT is raised to 18%. I know their difficulties more than anyone else. It is 18% in India too. Some other countries have it higher. With the country regaining some, everybody has to make sacrifices. It will be easy to tackle then, the president observed. Some MPs clapped when Ranil said the IMF Executive Board will decide on the second installment on the 12th. Mahinda Samarasinghe, too, is negotiating with them. The World Bank and the ADB are assisting us, he said. This time, too, the UNP Management Committee meeting was held at the Presidential Secretariat. Ranil told the gathering, a good decision regarding debt is awaited in December. A decision will come about the domestic debt too. The country will return to normal. Many at COP28 asked me how I managed that. Work harder during Christmas and in January. An election is coming too. Wickramasinghe added. Sajith's absence at the debate on the votes of Urban and Housing Ministry, like in the past year, came up at this meeting. It is a joke that Sajith accepts the cricket audit report, but challenges the one about the Central Cultural Fund during the period he was the minister, WEMP General Secretary remarked. Meanwhile, Ranil has already decided to run for president next year and is trying these days to reconcile UNP big shots presently at loggerheads. According to the president's column, he is trying to unity Ravi and Sagala as well as Sagala and Akila. It has been decided to use Ravi's Christmas party as an opportunity to settle internal disputes in the UNP. What is Lantha's armed struggle? NPP's KD. Lantha is a Politburo member of the JVP. He makes news from time to time. This time, it was when he gave an interview to a social media channel, which has since gone viral. He reveals how to curb rivals and go ahead with their economic plans in the event they gain power. Then, he gave an interview to the state-run Silumina newspaper. When asked if he believes the people could be taken towards an armed struggle, he replies, "It is two different things, to arm the people with knowledge and with firearms. They should resort to armed struggles against rulers without a mandate. We will lead them. We are already doing that. We are raising public awareness in the villages and taking action at electorate level." Asked what shape that armed struggle would take, he replies thus, "Women should come to the roads armed with pots and pans, gas cookers and blenders. Farmers should do it with sickles. A day will come when people do that. Already, we have spoken to farmers and fisherfolk. We have conducted a very successful series of awareness meetings for the people. Farmers in India took to the streets in their tractors. Our people will do likewise. We will provide leadership." The interviewer from Silumina does not give up easily. He asks again if an armed struggle means a different kind of struggle with arms. "Our struggle is to arm the people with knowledge. It will be sharper than the galley-faced struggle. That struggle became a ship without a captain. Ours is different. We are giving leadership, leading the people to be armed with political knowledge," Lantha replies with confidence. "It is only NPP that has entered the scene to face the presidential polls. Apart from AKD, only Dilith Jayawira and Janaka Ratnayake have publicly announced their intentions. Some take all the 225 to task for wasting ours, 25 million on a single day. People say no to all of them. But those 225 are a mirror of society. As such, 22 million islanders should understand how much they have failed as a society. Each should change individually. If not, just accept the current reality and move on. That's it for today.